Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the west side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Worm Retold, also known as beastyqt, playing as the Delhi Sultanate, and battling out against him today, spawning in the southeast in red, it's Kaiser Johan, playing as the English. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. As always, hope you're all having a great morning, good afternoon, perhaps a good evening. And I'm excited for this one. It's been a while since we were on Dry Arabia, but we are seeing a lot of Delhi these days. And for good reason. They're a civilization that are actually pretty powerful at the moment for various different reasons, but they are looking very popular amongst the pro players at the moment. We've got the age-old English, which I'm sure many of you are very familiar with. Now with this matchup, kind of interesting, battle of the food and transitions really, because you've got the Delhi Sultanate that now are really leveraging the usage of professional scouts to get the deer camps off the map and to their capital town centre, delaying the farming transitions. And actually on the other side of the map, the English going for the farming transition relatively early. Of course the English getting cheaper farms and getting a good gather rate from them. It allows them to keep the scout out on the map a little bit longer, which is just as well because the Delhi Sultanate typically go on berries early, meaning that they don't have to bring sheep back to the town centre, and of course the English leveraging the farms to ensure the scout doesn't have to come back to bring sheep as well. Of course, the longer you have your scout out, more intel you get, more scouting information you get, but also more sheep you're likely to get. Now as always, I would like to say a very big thank you for everyone who has been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've actually been streaming a little bit more on Twitch these days, so it's worth popping by, saying hello if you can, when I'm next live. Either way, what I'm kind of curious to see is whether Beastie actually does drop a second mill. We've seen him do this quite often. And the reason for that is you can queue up multiple upgrades at a time, using both mills at the same time. Because of course the Delhi Sultanate get the technologies for free, just about getting access to actually researching them and taking the time it needs to get there. Abbey of the Kings is the landmark of choice here for Kaiser Johan and the English. Kind of curious to see whether he will address the Delhi Sultanate's feudal age aggression. I mean, it's an interesting matchup for sure, because the Delhi Sultanate, they do pivot towards, well, a heavy feudal age, and then can actually get a decent castle age timing as well, especially if they get the sacred science. And they can often upgrade their units pretty quickly, considering the reduced time it takes now for their veterancy upgrades. Not to mention the House of Learning, if that's something they plan to use. Although Compound of the Defender is the landmark for the castle age that is typically played by the Delhi Sultanate. A combination of cheaper keeps and be able to produce or build stone walls with the infantry on the map is incredibly powerful, often not one that you want to forego. And the king going to be out soon for the English, possibly looking to put some pressure on the map. Now, kind of curious to see, because I guess the pivot point for the English in terms of where this matchup's going to head towards is whether they go for a second town centre or not. Doesn't look like it at this stage, because you'd usually expect it to be on stone by now. And of course, the commitment to the early farms, whilst they are cheaper, it's still wood investment. And of course, having the farms like this would delay a second town centre play anyway. And I guess the Delhi Sultanate, that can be dangerous, because of course Ghazi raiders come out very quickly. Now granted, you can place the second town centre relatively close to home, so that isn't sort of deniable by the enemy, but looks like instead Kaiser Johan possibly going to play for an extended feudal age, which I think plays into the hands for the Delhi a little bit. Of course, free technologies, they get plenty of units quickly, efficient production, a powerful upgrade for them, being able to garrison scholars inside production buildings to make them produce a lot faster. And it will be the Dome of the Faith, by the way. Of course, Tower of Victory kind of falling out of fashion. The Dome of the Faith just allows the castle age tech up timing to really be a lot more impactful. A combination of the reduced time it takes to get the technologies in, but also being able to afford more scholars or get more scholars, makes it a really smooth transition to the next stage, which wasn't always the case for the Delhi Sultanate. Kaiser Johan getting to the feudal age now, and King obviously comes out for free. Just takes a bit of time to come out. I'm kind of curious to see what the army composition here will be for the English. Often you go for stables and cavalry when you go for the Abbey of the Kings, and that is indeed the case. Of course, the Abbey Kings, getting the king will enable those cavalry units to heal on up when they are accompanied by the king. Of course, the Delhi can heal up by using their scholars. And there is a stable for Beastie. But what's certainly going to be interesting is the timings here. The English getting the farming transition very smooth should mean that actually they should be able to get a constant stream of units. I think the big thing for the Delhi Sultanate, though, is that now that they are leveraging the professional scouts, it's a big... Yeah, there we go. There's the second mill. The fact that they're leveraging... Oh, we should actually be queuing up professional scouts on the other one. He hasn't clicked it just yet. I'm sure we'll see that corrected soon enough. Either way. Yeah, getting professional scouts in the deer camp for the Delhi means that farming transition comes in a lot later, and it means that we talk about smoothness of a transition of food income. Realistically, the Delhi don't need that transition until a lot later into the game, after which they're hopefully looking to get a huge advantage by that time even hits. And that's a big significant thing, because without professional scouts, without the deer camp, that farming transition would hit the Delhi a lot earlier, and possibly at a time where the English could start to get an upper hand. So I think really professional scouts is the big saving grace, or at least the big power boost for the Delhi Sultanate of recent times. And it's kind of curious, right, because they've always had access to this, but I think now because of the ease of gathering the deer camp, the way it's changed now is that the scouts actually automatically bring them back to the town centre. You have to click on the deer, of course, but they do work their way through them, and they bring them nicely and quickly, and lacking the APM needed to... You don't need the actions to do it as the player, so it definitely frees things up a little bit, makes it less arduous to get hold of those deer camps. Bit of an engagement here with the cavalry, and of course, both are going to be looking to micro back all the weak. Well, that's not too weak, that horseman, either way. Kaiser Johan will lose a couple, so Beastie getting the better of the micro here, really. As the King does now look to charge on through. Ghazi Raiders, though, going to back away. The great thing with the Ghazi Raiders as well, they do have a +2 damage bonus against heavily armoured units. And so it makes it difficult for the English, really. If they do look to pivot into man-at-arms in the Castle Age, well, Ghazi Raiders will still do a decent job against them. But you are heading towards the sort of 8th minute of the game, and we start to see the scholars now venture out to get those sacred sites. There is professional scouts. It is queued up now, and I suspect from the other mill. Yeah, there we go. So you've got the survival techniques as well coming on in, and professional scouts on the other mill. That's going to be a massive injection of food, which is obviously really supplying the economy nicely, because Ghazi Raiders, their main cost is with regards to food. 110 food per Ghazi Raider. Barracks has been added for the spearmen for the English. I wonder whether the Delhi will look to get some archers with this to snipe out those spearmen. The English looking to get a bit of a wraparound on the gold vein, which could potentially have some villager losses here. We shall see. A couple of villagers probably likely to go down here. Probably 2. There's the first blood for the English. And yeah, unfortunately, Beastie will lose a couple. Blacksmith has been built for the English as well. Looking to get those upgrades. Iron Undermesh coming in first, which is kind of curious because we don't actually see any archers. I think it's just preemptively doing that, really. But curious decision, actually. I guess he's expecting to see the archers on the map, but none of them are there so far. Ghazi Raiders come around the south, looking to get a bit of raid of his own, knowing that the English cavalry are on his side of the map. Beastie going to try and raid this wood line. Possibly should be able to get these 2 villagers. They're kind of exposed. The one lady is moving her way back. Yeah, unfortunately she's coming into trouble. Yep, 2 villagers going down there quite quickly to the Ghazi Raiders. Nice raid. A couple of spearmen though. Beastie has to get out of there if he can. And he will. Sacred sites are being capped now, 2 of them. One in the middle, one in the north. Which looks like Kaiser Johan is going to try and deny, but Beastie heading back with his Ghazi Raiders might take a fight here. And again, no archers here, but Iron Undermesh almost in for Kaiser Johan. It's going to be looking to be a bit of a dance around the central sacred site, but Kaiser Johan should get it in the end, considering he's got spearmen. Ghazi Raiders have to back away. Can't really challenge that without anything to... Yeah, oh, there we go. There's a double archery range. Kaiser Johan, he's prepared. He's got the Iron Undermesh ready and waiting in case the arch numbers do start to escalate, which they will. The double archery range production rather. And you can see the scholars now going to be popping out, I suspect, maybe to go into the arch range. I'm not so sure if he will look to supervise it. What we do know is that the deer camp's slowly being brought on in. Going to deny the sacred site in the north, and this is the benefit of going for cavalry as the English can get the map away, get units on the map really, and just sort of deny the sacred sites, which is of course something that Delhi would love to get hold of. Instead, he's going to go to the Castle Age himself just by raw mining the gold. Not a bad approach as well, because if he does get to the Castle Age at a good time, Well, he's got a good number of units, right? He should be able to hold on any sort of English push. When it does get to the castle age, he'll be able to upgrade these units to the veterancy level pretty quickly, considering how many scholars he's got. Certainly, Beastie showing that the Delhi Sultan aren't completely one-dimensional with the sacred sites. He's not really challenging for those just yet. Just showing us actually the Delhi Castle Age is, nothing to be frowned at, nothing to be snuffed at. It's going to make it work, it seems, and there's a lot of scouts still getting a lot of food off the map. This is a significant chunk of food, 350 food per deer. There are 7 deer here, so I'm not going to do the maths on that, but it's a lot of food. I think Kaiser Johan thinking about going to the castle age himself. I suspect we'll see the King's Palace. I think you have to really because of the fact that the Delhi are typically going to get keeps up, which act as town centers for them once they get the village fortress upgrade. So the English are going to want to try and at least match that somewhat. And it will be the compound of the defender, as we kind of expected for the Delhi Sultanate. Now, the great thing for the Delhi Sultanate is when he does get to the castle age, he's going to be able to pick up those relics. I wouldn't be surprised to see Beastie prepare and get those scholars on the relics rather, pick them up, bring them home, and then possibly look to challenge for those sacred sites. But what he won't want to do is to lose his army. Going to try and raid here with the cavalry. Of course, sending the cavalry forward is absolutely fine because these units are fast moving. They can always run out of danger. Not going to get too much value out of this, but all the spearmen are heading back. Beastie, he's got to prepare. He's got to make sure he's aware of this. Oh no, he's going to run into it. Oh, this is going to be devastating. That's going to be a lot of spearmen. Taking down a lot of Ghazi raiders. Oh, he's not taking the best engagement there. I mean, obviously trying to escape that position. Didn't get too many villages either, so Kaiser Johan definitely getting some value for sure. There's the King's Palace around the farms. Going to try and break through the palisades. There's not actually too much behind the walls here. Really, it's more about just securing and making sure that the horsemen aren't getting too much raiding value. But this could be a bit of a tricky situation because this could be a bit of a trap. Make no mistake about it. Thinking about this corner position, if Beastie gets a villager here and walls up, it doesn't have to be a villager. It could be a unit, right? Infantry unit walls up, whilst the cavalry are on the other side of the walls. There's no easy escape. And Kaiser Johan has to be a bit cautious of that. Kaiser Johan now in the castle age, but look at this. Beastie picked up 3 of the relics already. He's making his way home with them. 1 right across the map as well. Now Kaiser Johan going to be protective of this one. But it's only 1 relic, right? There are 4 others on the map. Beastie's already picked up 1. Garrisoned it inside his mosque. 3 more on the way. He's venturing out to stone now. Gonna get those keeps. You can definitely see the plan here for Beastie. Keeps will really secure the map, but also give him more villagers quickly. We'll lose a couple of scouts here, at least 1 I would have thought. Maybe these scouts might just about get away with it. As you can see, Kaiser Johan has had to make farms, and granted they are cheaper, but it does take a bit of a stinger in terms of unit production. It does take the stinger out of it a little bit. On the other hand, Beastie got plenty of food underneath the town centre waiting to be gathered. Village fortresses about a minute away, and the veterancy almost in for the archers. There we go. Waiting on the one for the Ghazi raiders though, it seems. Though this scholar will be taken. Again, it's only 1 relic. 4 of them should be taken off the map by Beastie. Gonna ride round, spearman getting position though, so Kaiser Johan might pick off a Ghazi raider or 2. Doesn't quite manage to get them. Beastie reacts in time. He pulls the villagers, or the Ghazi raiders back rather. Speaking of villagers, a lot on gold. Expecting to see a movement into crossbows, I would have thought. We typically see the English go for man-at-arms. It actually looks like it's going for more of a night play, which either way, it doesn't really matter. Crossbows is the right option here for the Delhi. Well, added in a nice early war elephant. And these are really powerful units for the Delhi Sultanate now. And the most recent patch, on this patch rather, this is being played on, war elephant has splash damage. Trample damage, if you will. And so once upon a time, these elephants used to be units that you could kind of ignore. If you're fighting up against them, you can't really ignore them now. They do engage in battle very nicely, very well. They can do damage to multiple units at a time when they engage. Kaiser Johan going to put some pressure on this wall and try and force Beastie to address it. But if Beastie is paying attention, he could look to try and trap these units on the other side of the wall once they break on through. Kaiser Johan will make it back with one of the relics. It's better than nothing, but looks a bit awkward. A bit of a wallow, bit of a distraction more than anything. Kaiser Johan backs away, he's not looking to fall for the trap, and keep going on the forward position, wanting to secure the front of his base, and why not? But Beastie certainly showing a different style to the Delhi. Not really focusing on the sacred sites, playing a bit more of a defensive approach and a bit of a macro approach, actually, as it happens. And this is actually showing the power of the Delhi. Like, you expect them to be super aggressive, super on the map, looking to get the sacred sites, but actually Beastie showing us another style of play for the Delhi. Saying, hey, look, you want to play a macro game? We should do it. We can do it. The Delhi can... Oh, he has got the trap in. Perfect. Got 2 crossbows to do so. Getting a double layer palisade walls, which means these horsemen are trapped. Of course, range units getting some damage. Not enough to... Yeah, it's going to kill 1 of the horsemen there so far. The elephants are pretty slow on their feet, but splitting off of these units should get the trap on in. Although... the movement speed of the Ghazi Raiders, or the horsemen rather, might be able to get them out. Speaking of Ghazi Raiders, they're going to run on in this gold vein. Oh, Kaiser Johan is not paying attention. He needs to react to this. He's going to lose a good few villages before he does. Spearmen now do engage. The Ghazi Raiders got so much damage. They're going to ride on out here, but damage has been done. Elephants slow to the chase. Oh, here, relics being picked up. He's going to go for the Wallow. Try and force those horsemen into taking in a fight. Villagers backing away. They're going to try and get the block in. There's the Wallow. Oh, he might be able to get round there, Kaiser Johan. Villagers coming into block. Oh, that's unfortunate there for Kaiser Johan. He's not going to be able to escape easily. Villagers blocking the way. And now the elephants, they're going to get a lot of damage in, especially those archers as well. That's a massive loss of units there for Kaiser Johan. You can see his units plummeting. Going to get a bit of a raid with the horsemen here. Nicely done to peel off just 1 unit to challenge the berries. But that trap has worked phenomenally well here for Beastie. Farming transition coming out more here for Kaiser Johan. The food income should be good, but of course he just lost a lot of units for free, which we will have to replace. You see now the keep working well with village fortresses. Essentially double TC versus double TC on both sides. Going to get more stone, more keeps on the map. And it looks like now, after that loss of units, Kaiser Johan can't really challenge the map, and I suspect Beastie is now feeling good about things, feeling safe to move on out with 3 war elephants. Good few crossbows, and a handful of archers, which have, scaled well for the mid-game, considering it's not always the case for the Delhi. Of course, now that the veterancy upgraded, they can do a lot better in these fights. Beastie feels confident getting these sacred sites. There we go, keep being plonked down on the sacred sites. It's very fascinating to see this playstyle for the Delhi. Often we see them go really quite crazy for the sacred sites in the feudal age, but actually Delhi, these days, showcased by Beastie now, saying, you know what, okay, I won't challenge necessarily for the sacred sites too early. We'll get them, and then, you can have them back. What we will do is get to the castle age and put ourselves in a position where, actually, when we take them again next time, we're going to take them for keeps. And of course, the Delhi Sultanate are a great civilization to players against the English, because the English do like to stay at home, but with the threat of the sacred site victory, it's something that it's a problem they have to address. The English can't just stay at home easily. They have to make some units, as we have seen Kaiser Johan do today. Now 20 minutes on the clock almost. All 3 sacred sites will be in the hands of the Delhi. Look at the economy though. I think, you could probably go to the Imperial Age before too long. He's not far off here, Beastie. It shows you how devastating losing a group of horsemen can be. The Delhi economy, it's all coming down to the fact that they have all these free upgrades. The economic upgrades coming in very nicely. Granted, the English have got their versions as well, but he had to pay full price for them. Means less army. That's really starting to tell. Look at that military count. Beastie with 80 versus the 47, and the Imperial Age coming in for Beastie rather. Kaiser Johan probably thinking about it himself. A Berkshire Palace or 2, or just 1 of course, will be enough. You can only get 1 landmark when you do age up. And considering we're playing on Season 8, it's unlikely to be the Wingard Palace. It needs that protection. There's a potential you might look to try and get a Berkshire Palace on the sacred site, but it'd be tricky to establish that because Beastie has got a lot of units on the field. So he might be forced to place it back at home. One good thing for the English though is they can get enclosures to get some gold trickling in with his farming economy. The sacred site timer has been activated, so 9 minutes on the clock. And Kaiser Johan will need to venture out on the map within that time frame and decap a sacred site. There's the play for the Berkshire Palace. We have to consider as well the 8,000 gold veins are in a really rough spot for Kaiser Johan. The map generation hasn't been too kind for him. Both of these are the northern hemisphere of the map, protected by, well, pending walls. Of course, the English can rely on enclosures for a period of time, but it's not enough really to sustain a full Imperial Age fight, really. It helps, but it's not something you can fully rely on in the long term. And the number of relics already brought into play, tithe bombs, is going to be really nice here for the Delhi. Giving some income of food, wood and stone every minute per relic. Sacred site fully walled up. Keep on that site as well. Yeah, this is going to looking to be very hard now for the English to challenge. 3 keeps, 3 sacred sites, plenty of units, being in the Imperial Age faster as well. Beastie in full control of this match. The question is, can he deal with the Berkshire Palace? He's got war elephants, which is actually a very nice unit for the Delhi these days. Not only because of the trample damage, but also they are a siege unit, so they can break down walls, they can break down keeps, they can break down structures very effectively. Looks like Kaiser Johan just trying to check on whether Beastie might be trading or not. And there's the network of citadels, increasing the attack speed, and also enclosures. 2 incredibly important upgrades for the English. Look at this, Beastie's going to be able to afford a keep again before too long. Question is, which sacred site does Kaiser Johan look to challenge? It looks like he might be going for one down the middle. Veteran longbows, veteran spearmen. Of course, he's still waiting for these upgrades to come on in. He doesn't have that much time though. But certainly a new approach to playing as the Delhi. Not something that people would necessarily expect. Beastie showing that the Delhi can be somewhat versatile. Looks like Kaiser Johan thinking of making a move on through now. He's got good military number. The trouble is, does he have enough to deal with these elephants that are possibly going to be heading his way soon? A couple of man-times around the back wood line, but plenty of units there for Beastie to clear that on up. Look how many elephants he's got. He's even got the Sultan's elite tower elephant, courtesy of the Hisar Academy. Double Madrasa as well. Oh, he's not actually queued up these ones, but I'm sure he will. Here come the elephants now. Beastie, full population capacity, 200 out of 200. He senses it's go time. A couple of man-at-arms going to try and torch down this palisade wall, but with the army that he's got, he's going to split off a couple, going north with the crossbows. It really comes down to Kaiser Johan to pressurize, right? Beastie feels like doesn't really need to push at all. He's got the sacred sites. Has to come down to the English to put pressure. Wouldn't be surprised to see Beastie actually plonk down a lot more production buildings so that if he does lose his army in a fight, he can make them back very quickly again. Another keep though on the gold, and yeah, you can see Kaiser Johan, he is desperate for gold. But he doesn't have much protection here, doesn't have the keep for it, and it's not looking good. He's got 3 man-at-arms, but that won't be enough to deny the keep, especially considering there are crossbows there. Kaiser Johan, he has to pull those villagers back. Yeah. Full map control as the Delhi Delight look to play this out. It's going to move on forward with the war elephants. The lack of gold is going to hurt Kaiser Johan. He's got good few spearmen, but again, the choke point here is going to hurt him quite a bit. He's fighting underneath the keep, but he has to go, right? He has to decap a sacred site. He has to get some presence on the map once again. Does have a bombard working on the keep, so that might help him. Elephants, though, being brought back. Does lose 1 war elephant. A few more to go, 5 in total. Crossbow's getting some good damage though for the English against the war elephants. He's not getting too close to this. He needs to get up here with the war elephants to get the splash damage. And Kaiser Johan has to be very careful about that. Villagers though repairing the keep very nicely, and so that should survive, although with the second bombard that could be problematic. Elephants actually starting to die here for Beastie. Sheer number of units starting to overwhelm here for the English. Can he get a way through? I mean, overall unit numbers though, Beastie's still looking good with it. Or Magadal That could be problematic, although the bombards might take care of it. There are a couple of springballs. The keep is on fire. That second bombard doing a lot of work. Elephant goes down on the front line, but look at this, more coming and forward. Down to almost 1,000 HP, but he loses one bombard. The springald's doing so well here for Beastie, and he pushes the bombard away, and the keep will survive. And that push has been hampered. Still 4 minutes on the clock. Can Kaiser Johan come in with a second wave? Just doesn't have the full population capacity. That's the big problem. I think he doesn't have enough production buildings. As Beastie, he's replaced his army very quickly. A handful of springals. A lot of springals, in fact. And all he has to do is keep the sacred site alive. Could actually palisade wall this again with his units if he so wished. And unfortunately, at this moment, Kaiser Johan having to rely on the closures. To be fair, he's got about 1,000 gold in the bank, but it's only about half of what the Delhi have got at the moment. 26 minutes on the clock and only 3.5 minutes left remaining. Is he going to go for the south sacred site maybe? No, it doesn't look like it. BC thought he might have been. He's coming with the bombard, but that keep remaining was absolutely clutch there for BC, and it's fully healed up and repaired again. The one bombard going to try and work on this, but again, this is a tough hold, isn't it? No doubt about it. Granted, Beastie is struggling on the food income somewhat, but all he has to do is hold on for 3 minutes. Kaiser Johan going on top of the sacred site, but there is a mangonel back there, boiling oil in place as well with the keep. 2 bombards always heading back. There's just too many springals. That's the biggest problem. This keep is not being able to be denied. The English can't take it down. It's going to get a lot of the units being burnt to the ground with the boiling oil. Good number of war elephants. They are so tanky. Double mangonel play. Wallalow as well. He might actually get a couple of units from this. Oh, that's a great Wallalow. He's pushing him away from the sacred site, making sure he can't stay there for too long, and this is a massive hole down the middle. Scholars healing up the tanky elephants as it is. And Kaiser Johan, it feels like he's running out of steam, doesn't have the food income, doesn't have the gold income he needs to sustain the army in this push. Bombard's focusing on the war elephants for now, but the mangonels are changing everything. And he doesn't have enough units. He can't deny the sacred site for too long. And he has to regroup, come again if he wants to do it, but he can't. He's run out of steam. And the Delhi Sultanate are looking different, showcased by Beastie today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Kaiser Johan taps out, and it will be Beastie reigning supreme on Dry Arabia. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game. Take care, and see you next time.